what moving forward, you talked about the presence in Venezuela relative to what we've just seen and the broader threats on Venezuela. But another thing that's been happening that we've been covering on this show and reporting and relying on your reporting in Telesur has been the United States actually basically intervening in the Caribbean to steal essentially or redirect, whatever diplomatic way you want to put it, COVID testing kits, ventilators, other essentials related to this health crisis that have been going to countries across the Caribbean. I mean, at first, I think the first country was Barbados that was reported, but now it's implicated in Jamaica and elsewhere. Can you talk about the range of what's happening in terms of, I mean, basically U.S. piracy with regards to COVID equipment and the Caribbean?
Yeah, it was really, it's pretty sad to see what is taking place because it essentially is a death sentence. Because Barbados was the first country. It actually started when the United States president signed this Defense Production Act on April 3rd. He signed that. And then by April 6th, 3 days later, we heard Barbados announce that 20 ventilators that were actually donated, not purchased, but were donated to the country to assist in the fight against COVID-19. Those ventilators were blocked from leaving and they were seized. Shortly after, we heard from the Cayman Islands, that was like about 50,000 medical equipment, including masks, that was stopped. Later, we heard Jamaica being very reluctant, I would say, to mention that the United States had done this because in the parliament, the Minister of Health, Dr. Christopher Tufton, when he was speaking, he announced, he said, a particular country is what he said, prevented certain equipment from reaching the country. And when the opposition questioned him as to which particular country, he mentioned, it's the United States. And when he said that, they asked him, are you afraid? Why didn't you mention that it was the United States from onset? He said, no, I'm not afraid. The Bahamas was also another country that was affected. And then the latest country to publicly speak about it, and I say publicly because I believe a lot of these other nations who feel dependent on the United States for assistance that may actually never come, a little bit less vocal about what is taking place. But Trinidad and Tobago, our Minister of Health, Terence Dialsing, mentioned that 4,000 testing kits were stopped from reaching the country from Abbott Technologies. The challenge with that particular one was that the government was preparing to set up a medical lab in the south of the country to assist the people who live there rather than have them go north or along the east-west corridor to get testing. It's particularly a dire situation because we've heard the World Health Organization mention numerous times, Dr. Tedros Ghebreyesus mentioned that testing is very important in treating and really defeating this virus, or at least controlling it. You need to be able to test, detect, isolate, treat the people who may have come into contact with this virus. If you are stopping countries from accessing much needed medical equipment and supplies, it means that you are condemning people to death because a lot of people can die from contracting this virus without even knowing that they would have had it. And that's because of the United States really looking inwardly. And it's not even really doing a good job at that because we've seen the country have the most cases, coronavirus cases, and as well as deaths. So you really have to question, what is this benefiting the United States at this point in time?
You just watched a Michael Brooks show video. Subscribe to get them all. Why wouldn't you? Don't be foolish. Click subscribe below and become a patron as well. Patreon.com/TMBS. Thanks, everybody.